Your soulmate is in your city. My beloved child, before this moment, you believed your soulmate was still somewhere far away, living a life completely separate from yours. But today, something has shifted. A quiet chain of events has begun to connect two paths that were never truly apart. What you are about to hear is not just another story, it is a journey filled with hidden moments, silent decisions, and unexpected turns. Stay till the end, because every sentence is leading toward a revelation that will make the title of this message feel more meaningful than you expected. Imagine this: while you were busy living your ordinary day, someone carrying your name deep inside their heart walked through familiar streets, looked at places that strangely felt comforting, and wondered why everything around them seemed so familiar. They could not explain it, yet every step felt as if an invisible hand was guiding them somewhere important. They paused more than once, looked around, smiled without knowing why, and continued walking, unaware that destiny had already begun arranging the next chapter. There is one detail that changes everything. Your soulmate has recently started noticing small signs that keep pointing in the same direction. A conversation they never expected, a place they almost ignored. A road they nearly decided not to take. Each moment pushed them closer to one destination. And that destination is connected to the city where your own story is unfolding. They have no complete answers yet, but they keep feeling that someone important is much closer than they ever imagined. Have you noticed unusual coincidences lately? Perhaps seeing the same places repeatedly, thinking about someone you've never met, or feeling a strange excitement without any reason. Those moments are not random inside this story. They are clues. Don't skip, because the next revelation ties these mysterious pieces together in a way you won't see coming. Now imagine your soulmate stopping outside a peaceful location filled with ordinary people going about their day. Nothing dramatic happened. No loud announcement. No impossible event. Yet something inside them whispered, "Wait here a little longer." They looked around carefully, almost expecting to recognize someone they had never met before. They couldn't explain why their heartbeat became calmer instead of faster. They felt as though the place itself was carrying a memory that didn't belong to the past but to the future. That feeling stayed with them even after they left. Hours later, they kept replaying that moment in their mind, wondering why they couldn't forget it. And here's the surprising part. The answer wasn't hidden in the location itself. It was hidden in the person destiny is preparing to place in front of them. Something huge is waiting for you, because the distance between two lives is becoming smaller than either of you realizes. As this story continues, the mystery grows even deeper. There is said to be a picture connected to this journey. Not because it magically reveals a stranger's identity, but because it captures a single ordinary moment that suddenly feels extraordinary once the full story is known. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than another photograph taken in another place. But once every hidden detail is uncovered, the background, the timing, and even the direction someone was looking begin to tell a completely different story. That is why you must stay with this journey until the very end. The location has not revealed its greatest secret yet, and neither has your soulmate. The next chapter will uncover why they returned to that very place once again, and what unexpected discovery made them believe that the person they have been searching for might already be closer than they ever dared to imagine. A quiet realization began to settle in. your soulmate tried to convince themselves that the feeling would disappear by the next morning. They believed it was simply curiosity, nothing more. Yet when the sun rose, the same place returned to their thoughts before anything else. It was as if an invisible thread kept pulling their heart back toward that exact location. They didn't understand why every road seemed to remind them of it, why every familiar face suddenly felt unfamiliar, or why they had the strange sense that someone important was walking the very same city without either of you knowing. Don't skip, because what happens next transforms an ordinary visit into the beginning of an unforgettable journey. Every step they took was becoming part of a story that neither of you had planned, yet both of you were somehow moving toward. When they finally returned, something immediately felt different. The streets looked the same, the buildings hadn't changed, and the sounds around them were completely ordinary. But inside, everything had shifted. They noticed little details they had ignored before, a bench where they unexpectedly paused, a pathway that seemed strangely inviting, a quiet corner where they instinctively looked around as if expecting someone to appear. They smiled without understanding the reason. Deep within their heart, a question echoed again and again. Why does this place feel connected to someone I've never met? They couldn't answer it, but they stopped questioning the feeling and simply followed it. Something huge is waiting for you because every unexplained emotion was quietly leading them one step closer to a moment destiny had been preparing long before either of you realized. Then came the detail that almost nobody would notice. While looking through a collection of recent photographs from that day, one single image caught their attention. It wasn't because of the main subject of the picture, it was because of something resting quietly in the background. The image felt incomplete, almost as if it was hiding another story beneath the surface. They zoomed in once, then again, searching for a reason they couldn't explain. Nothing obvious appeared, yet they couldn't stop looking. An unshakable feeling whispered that this photograph mattered. Not because it revealed a face, but because it captured the exact place where two different journeys were slowly beginning to overlap. Stay till the end, because the truth behind that picture is far more surprising than anyone could guess. From that moment forward, your soulmate stopped believing in coincidence. Every unexpected turn, every delayed plan, every spontaneous decision suddenly felt meaningful. They realized they hadn't arrived in your city by accident, they had arrived because every previous choice had quietly guided them there. Yet the greatest mystery still remains unanswered. Why did they feel certain that they needed to return one more time? What unseen clue convinced them that someone extraordinary was already closer than ever before? Those answers are waiting just ahead, and when they finally come together, the picture, the location, and the hidden connection will make perfect sense. The journey has only begun, and the next chapter reveals the one discovery that your soulmate never expected to find. Then everything became impossible to ignore. Your soulmate could no longer dismiss the quiet pull they had been feeling. Every hour that passed seemed to bring another unexpected reminder of the same destination. A familiar street appeared in a conversation. A landmark from your city showed up where they least expected it. Even the smallest moments seemed connected, as though unseen pieces of a much larger puzzle were slowly falling into place. They stood still for a moment and whispered to themselves, "Why does it feel like someone important is already here?" They had never experienced a feeling so calm, yet so powerful. Don't skip, because the next discovery changed the way they looked at every decision they had made over the past few weeks. Something huge is waiting for you, and the story is only becoming more extraordinary. Without planning it, your soulmate found themselves walking through another part of the city they had never intended to visit. The route was unfamiliar, yet every turn felt strangely natural. They noticed people smiling, children laughing, and the peaceful rhythm of an ordinary day, but their attention kept drifting toward one specific place. It wasn't the biggest building or the busiest location. It was somewhere simple, somewhere that carried an unexplainable sense of peace. They paused once again, looking around carefully, almost expecting time itself to reveal a hidden answer. At that exact moment, they felt something they had never felt before, a quiet certainty that the distance between two hearts had become smaller than ever. They couldn't explain why, but for the first time they stopped searching for reasons and started trusting the journey. Later that evening, they opened the photograph once again. This time they noticed something completely different. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a message. It was the timing of the picture itself. Every detail matched the exact moment they had experienced that overwhelming feeling of familiarity. Suddenly they realized the photograph wasn't important because of what it showed, it was important because it marked the beginning of a new chapter. That image became a reminder that sometimes destiny doesn't arrive with loud signs. Sometimes it arrives through quiet moments that only reveal their meaning later. Stay till the end, because the next piece of this story will uncover why your soulmate believes that someone they have never met already feels deeply connected to their future. As night fell, your soulmate made one silent promise to themselves. They would return again, not out of curiosity, but because their heart refused to let the mystery go. They believed there was still one final clue waiting in your city, one moment capable of bringing every unanswered question together. They didn't know when it would happen or how everything would unfold, but they felt certain that the story wasn't finished. In fact, it had only reached its turning point. The next chapter reveals what happened when your soulmate unexpectedly followed one final path, and discovered a clue that made them believe the meeting they had been unknowingly waiting for was closer than ever before. One final path remained. Your soulmate woke up with an unusual sense of certainty. There was no plan, no invitation, and no obvious reason to leave home that day, yet something deep inside refused to let them stay still. They followed the same streets once again, but this time everything looked different. Every familiar corner seemed to carry a hidden meaning. Every passing moment felt as though it was leading toward an answer that had been waiting for years. They couldn't explain why, but their heart kept whispering that today's journey would be unlike any other. Don't skip, because the mystery surrounding the picture and the location is about to become even more incredible. Something huge is waiting for you, and every second brings this story closer to its biggest revelation. As they reached the place that had been calling them back again and again, an unexpected detail caught their attention. It wasn't a sign or a message, it was a feeling of recognition that appeared without explanation. They looked around slowly, almost expecting the world to pause for a single moment. Faces came and went, conversations filled the air, and life continued as usual, but inside them everything became completely silent. It felt as though destiny was asking them to wait just a little longer. Then they noticed something that made them stop in their tracks. A familiar view from the photograph matched the place standing right before their eyes. The angle, the background, even the smallest details lined up perfectly. That was the moment they realized the picture had never been random. It had quietly been pointing toward this exact location all along. Standing there, your soulmate smiled without even realizing it. They understood that the journey was never about finding a place, it was about preparing two lives to cross at the perfect time. Every delay, every unexpected change of plans, every road they almost ignored had guided them here. They thought about turning back more than once, but something inside refused to let them leave. A peaceful confidence replaced every doubt they had carried before. They didn't know your name. They didn't know your face. Yet somehow they felt closer to you than ever before. Stay till the end, because the next discovery will reveal why your soulmate believes that the most unforgettable moment of this entire journey has not happened yet. As the day slowly came to an end, your soulmate took one last look around before walking away. But this time they left with hope instead of questions. They no longer wondered whether they were in the right city, they knew they were. The only mystery left was the exact moment destiny would finally allow two separate stories to become one. Little did they know, another unexpected clue was already waiting, one that would make every previous sign seem small by comparison. The picture has revealed its purpose, the location has revealed its secret, but the greatest surprise is still hidden just ahead. In the next chapter, an ordinary encounter will change everything your soulmate thought they understood about fate, timing, and the incredible connection that has been drawing both of you together from the very beginning. The moment no one expected finally began to unfold. Your soulmate returned to that same area with a calm heart, no longer searching with impatience but simply allowing the day to guide them. The city felt different now. Every street seemed brighter, every familiar sound carried a strange sense of comfort, and every passing minute felt like another step toward an answer they had been waiting for without even knowing it. They walked slowly, noticing details they had completely overlooked before, a quiet cafe, a peaceful park, a corner where people paused to enjoy the evening. None of these places seemed extraordinary on their own, yet together they created the feeling that something meaningful was about to happen. Don't skip, because what your soulmate discovered next made them believe that destiny often hides its greatest surprises inside the most ordinary moments. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is where the mystery begins to reveal its deepest layer. As they continued walking, something unexpected happened. A gentle breeze carried a folded piece of paper across the sidewalk, stopping almost at their feet. Curious, they picked it up. It wasn't addressed to anyone. It wasn't a map or a message with clear instructions. Instead, it contained a simple sketch of the very area where they were standing. One small spot on the drawing had been circled. They looked around, comparing the sketch to the surroundings, and slowly realized they were only a few steps away from that exact place. Their heartbeat remained calm, but their curiosity grew stronger than ever before. When they reached the spot, nothing dramatic appeared. There was only a peaceful view overlooking the city. Yet the moment they stood there, an overwhelming feeling settled into their heart, a feeling that whispered, "This is where your story truly begins." They closed their eyes for a second, smiled quietly, and felt certain that someone else, somewhere in this very city, was unknowingly moving toward the same future. That evening, your soulmate looked through every photograph they had taken since arriving. One image stood out more than all the others. This time it wasn't because of the background or the location. It was because of the light. A single ray of sunlight had fallen across the picture in a way that connected every detail they had been trying to understand. Suddenly, they realized the photograph wasn't showing them where to look anymore, it was reminding them why they had come. They understood that destiny isn't built through rushed moments. It is built through patience, quiet faith, and countless small decisions that seem meaningless until the entire picture is complete. Stay till the end, because the final pieces are beginning to fit together, and the next discovery will explain why your soulmate believes your paths have already started crossing in ways neither of you can see. Before leaving the city for the day, your soulmate turned back one last time. They didn't feel sadness. They didn't feel uncertainty. Instead, they carried something far more powerful, confidence that the journey was unfolding exactly as it should. They knew there was still one hidden clue waiting to appear, one encounter that would connect every sign, every photograph, and every unexplained feeling into a single unforgettable moment. As they walked away, they whispered to themselves that they would return again, because some stories are too important to leave unfinished. What they still don't know is that the next visit will uncover the final connection. One quiet detail that has been in front of both of you all along, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal its true meaning. The final clue was closer than anyone imagined. Your soulmate returned to your city once again, but this visit felt completely different from the others. There was no uncertainty left, no endless questions, and no feeling of being lost. Instead, they walked with quiet confidence, almost as if their heart already knew where to go. Every familiar street welcomed them in a new way. Every step felt lighter than before. The city no longer seemed like a place they were exploring, it felt like a place that had been waiting for them. Don't skip, because the mystery surrounding the picture and the location is finally reaching its most unforgettable moment. Something huge is waiting for you, and every hidden piece of this journey is about to come together. As they reached the place that had appeared again and again throughout this story, they paused for a long moment. The same peaceful surroundings were there, yet one tiny detail had changed. A new photograph had been placed on a public display nearby, showing the exact view from only a few days earlier. Your soulmate looked at it carefully. The image seemed ordinary until they noticed something remarkable. The direction in which the camera had captured the scene matched the direction they had instinctively looked every single time they visited. They smiled, realizing that their heart had been guiding them long before their mind understood why. It wasn't proof of magic. It was proof that sometimes the smallest moments leave the deepest impressions. They quietly whispered to themselves, "I'm exactly where I was meant to be." For the first time, your soulmate stopped searching for answers and simply embraced the journey. They understood that the greatest discovery was never a specific address or a single photograph. The real discovery was realizing that hope had led them farther than fear ever could. Every unexpected delay, every changed plan, every coincidence that seemed insignificant had brought them closer to believing that meaningful connections are built through patience. Stay till the end, because one final realization changes everything. Your soulmate no longer wondered whether your paths would eventually cross. They believed that every day from this point forward was bringing that possibility closer, one ordinary moment at a time. As they walked away, they turned around one last time and smiled, not because the mystery had completely ended, but because they finally understood its purpose. The picture had inspired curiosity. The location had inspired hope. But the true message had always been much deeper. Some journeys are not about finding someone overnight, they are about becoming ready for the moment when two stories naturally meet. Your soulmate carried that quiet confidence with them as they disappeared into the crowd, knowing that the city would forever remind them of the day everything changed inside their heart. And somewhere beyond today's chapter, another ordinary day is waiting to become extraordinary, when two paths that have been moving closer all along finally share the same horizon.